Yo, what's up, guys? Unfortunate loss for the Leafs last night, losing 4-3 to the Ottawa Senators in Game 4 of the Stanley Cup playoffs, guys. Well, guys, I think we could all agree that we knew the Ottawa Senators were going to come into this game, fighting for their playoff lives, We knew they were going to come out hard in this game, and they certainly did in that first period, guys, as we saw, of course. But, the Maple Leafs, unfortunately, did the Senators a favor, Max Domi taking a ridiculous penalty in the face-off circle, guys, to give Ottawa a man up on the power play. I felt that was a stupid penalty by Max Domi, guys. A veteran player like Max Domi cannot be taking penalties like that, guys. Giving Ottawa the man advantage. You're 3-0 up on them. Do not give this team any damn life in this game. You know what I mean, guys? So, unfortunately, we saw Domi takes that ridiculous penalty. Stützle scores on Stolarz. Their short side over his shoulder, Stoley's given up a few goals like that this season, of course, guys. So it was a really good shot by Stützle, but unfortunate goal for the Leafs to give up, to go down 1-0. And then obviously we saw the Leafs get on the power play, but we unfortunately saw Shane Pinto score a shorthanded goal because Mitch Marner tried to fish for the puck instead of protecting the blue line, and then Pinto hits it off the boards, and we saw what happened. He goes 5-0 on Stolarz to make it 2-0 Senators. So I would say, guys, I think we all know that we're not surprised that Ottawa took a 2-0 lead in that first period. It wasn't the Leafs' best period of the series, probably one of the worst periods, I would say. I didn't like that period at all by them, but the good thing is the Leafs were able, as we saw, cut it down to 2-1 with a fantastic pass by Willie Nylander. John Tavares keeping his stick on the ice to tip it in past Linus Solmark to cut the deficit to 2-1. It was a phenomenal goal. Great pass by Nylander, guys. And it was right near the end of the first period, so it was really good for the Leafs to cut it down by one goal going into the intermission. And then the Maple Leafs, guys, man, were they freaking amazing in that second period, especially in that second period, guys. Second and third periods, defensively wise, guys, was some of the best defensive hockey I've seen the Maple Leafs play in a very long time, guys. Just the way they were defending the puck, guys. Ottawa had nothing that period, guys. Incredible to see. Ottawa had one shot on net in the second period, guys. 3 shots in the third. It was just a defensive clinic by the Maple Leafs, guys. And then for the Leafs to tie the game up, what a play by Matthew Knies, guys. What power, what speed, and the hands on this kid, guys. This kid is becoming a hell of a player. Absolutely mind-blowing the potential that this kid has right now, guys. To blow by Artem Zub the way he did, and then to dangle Olmark and go top shelf on him, guys. Just an absolutely spectacular goal by Matthew Knies, guys. I think we could all agree that was just something else that we saw last night. Just a beautiful goal to tie the game up for the Maple Leafs, guys. They showed a lot of character in the second and third period, guys. Going down 2 times, because obviously we saw what happened in the third period. Ottawa took a 3-2 lead because Perron was wide open and on the side there, guys. Stolarz can't do anything about that goal, of course. So obviously we saw the Senators take the lead. But then William Nylander, we saw, guys, another spectacular pass. I loved Willie there. Beautiful pass to Ekman Larsson to make it 3-3. You know what I mean, guys? The Leafs are playing well. Battling back a couple times, showing a lot of character, really shutting down Ottawa. But then obviously, guys, as we saw, right in near the end of overtime, or right at the beginning of overtime, we see John Tavares getting hit right in the face by Artem Zub, and of course, no bloody call by these referees who have been absolutely frustrating at times in this series. We obviously lose John Tavares for half the period, and then obviously we saw Chris Tanev get high-sticked in the face, double minor. I'm pretty sure it was Batherson who high-stuck Tanev there. Gives the Leafs a 4-minute minor, guys. And, I was saying to myself, this is where the Leafs have to end the series and bury the Senators. And unfortunately, guys, as we saw, the Leafs did not do that, guys, And obviously, I'm saying to myself, man, oh man, the killer instinct would have been perfect in this moment of time to knock the Senators off, eliminate them. But unfortunately, the killer instinct was not there last night, guys. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not confident that the Leafs can come home on Tuesday night and beat the Senators and close this series out. But man, that was a golden opportunity the Leafs had to close that series out, get a couple days of rest. Obviously with Tavares being injured, wasn't on the power play for the double minor. Of course, I think that affected the power play. Morgan Riley was there. He was okay. Didn't do an amazing job, I felt there, guys. But then you saw Ottawa kills the penalty. And then we saw what happened later. Sanderson gets the puck at the point. Stolarz doesn't see it, obviously, guys. Beats Stolarz. Obviously makes it 4-3, and the Senators stay alive, guys. But Guys, if the Leafs play like this again on Tuesday night, I don't see how they don't end this series. Honestly, they were really good, the Leafs. I thought Nyes and Nylander were their best players last night, guys. The D-core was solid. Riley played over 30 minutes. Ekman Larson played like 26. The D-core played really well, guys. I don't blame Stolarz, maybe other than the Stützle goal I didn't like, but I thought Stoli played okay. Most of the goals weren't his fault. You know what I mean, guys? And then we're not getting much production from guys like Max Domi, Bobby McMahon. Pacioretty didn't look good last night, guys. That's what's frustrating, seeing those guys not being very productive. If it wasn't for Max Domi getting that overtime winner, guys, he'd be in the hot seat for possibly getting scratched because he has not been very productive other than sitting his ass in a penalty box, guys, for stupid bloody penalties. So, really frustrating loss for the Leafs tonight, guys, but the Leafs are still in the driver's seat. I'm not worried, but they got to shut this series down, guys, in Ottawa, in Toronto Tuesday night, guys. You got to finish them off. The Leafs are playing well, guys. Ottawa has been busting chops this series. But the Leafs, guys, I think they've been playing some really good hockey. Got a little bit unlucky the last night as well, guys. 0 for 4 on the power play. First time the Leafs power play was also shut out, guys. So that was the first time this series we've seen that. I'm sure the power play will be better on Tuesday night against the Senators, guys. I'm sure the Leafs will be way more prepared to finish off the Senators. We knew that the Senators were going to get at least a game, guys. They were really battling last night. They did deserve the win at times, but then the Leafs really shut them down, in the second and third. But in overtime, I thought Ottawa was really pressing. Tkachuk looked pretty active in that overtime period, guys. Senators really wanted to obviously stay alive, of course, but Leafs did some things, like on that power play, guys. Leafs had like 6 opportunities there. They hit the post. They had their chances, but unfortunately, they couldn't bury it. They couldn't bury the Senators. Senators found a way. But now, guys, I think we could all agree you cannot let this get to a Game 6. No way in hell. You got to find a way to finish this team off Tuesday night. I've been seeing some ridiculous shit on Twitter about how Joe Wall should start Game 5. Squash that shit right now. Joe Wall's not playing Game 5. Stolarz is playing in Game 5, guys. He's been playing well. I do not blame him for the loss last night. If anybody does, they're stupid. Okay, it's absolutely ridiculous to blame him right now. You shouldn't be watching hockey if you are. The Leafs played well enough to win last night, guys. Like I said, they came back twice. Obviously, as Leaf fans, we've seen the record, guys. They're like 1-12 in a clinching game. I understand. But these are teams in the past with teams were a lot weaker. This Leaf team wasn't as good. This team here is a lot different from those teams in the past, guys, with that record. William Nylander, he's been clutching, clinching games. He's got like 11 points. He had 2 points last night, 2 assists. So I feel, guys, that the Leafs should get this done Tuesday night. I'm not worried just yet. But if they get to a Game 6, I'm going to start getting a little bit worried. I'm sure the doubt will start to creep in. But right now, guys, the Leafs are still in the driver's seat. I have a lot of confidence that they will come home to Toronto on Tuesday night and finish off this series, guys, because we have the more experience. We are the better team. We have the better goaltending, I feel, as of right now, the better D-core. So there should be no excuses why the Toronto Maple Leafs should not be closing out this series Tuesday night, guys. But we'll see what happens, guys. A lot could happen, and we'll see what happens then, guys. But, guys, unfortunate loss for the Leafs last night. They deserved more. They could have gotten the win. Unfortunately, they didn't. But I think now, guys, we can all agree, finish this off Tuesday night, guys. But, guys, that's it for this video today. Thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, like this video. Subscribe if you guys want to see more content. Go Leafs, go, guys. And remember, if you do not watch sports, you're more. Ciao, guys.